spare us quarter of an hour at any events? Ah, this is my father-in-law, Mr. Burgess, Mr. Marchbanks.
Glad to meet you, sir.
Glad to meet you, I'm sure, Mr. Marchbanks. How are you treating yourself this weather? Hope you ain't letting James put any foolish ideas into your head.
Foolish ideas?
Ah,
Oh, you mean socialism? No.
that's all right. Oh, I've got to go now. Can't be out. Oh, you're not coming my way, are you, Mr. Marchbanks?
Oh, which way is that?
Victoria Park Station, there's a city train at 12:25.
Nonsense. Eugene will stay to lunch with us, I expect.
No,
Well, I'll not press you. I bet you'd rather lunch with Candy. Some night, I hope you'll come and dine with me at my club. Freeman Founders of Norton Folgate. Come, say well.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Burgess.
Ah,
Where is Norton Folgate? Down in Surrey, isn't it?
You'll lose your temper, Papa, if you don't go up. You have to go and tell Mr. Marchbanks where to find the club.
down in Surrey, that's not a bad one. Well, I never met a man as didn't know Norton Folgate afore. Goodbye, Mr. Marchbanks. I know you're too hard-bred to take my pleasantry in bad form.
Oh, not at all.
Bye-bye, Candy. I'll check in on you later on. So long, James.
Oh, must you go?
Oh, don't stir,
I'll
don't
see
stir.
you off. I'll see you off.
Well, Eugene, what did you think of my father?
I hardly know him yet. He seems to be a very nice old gentleman.
And you'll go to the Freeman Founders to dine with him, won't you?
Yes, if it will please you.
Oh, you know, you were a very nice young boy, Eugene, with all your queerness. You had laughed at my father, I shouldn't have minded. But I like you ever so much better for being nice to him.
Ought I to have laughed? I noticed that he said something funny. But I'm so ill at ease with strangers that I never can see a joke. I'm very sorry.
Oh, calm, you great baby, you! You are worse than usual this morning. Why were you so melancholy as we came along in the cab?
No, that was nothing. I was wondering how much I ought to give the cabman. I know it's utterly silly, but you don't know how dreadful such things are to you. How I shrink from having to deal with strange people. But it's quite all right. He beamed on over and tipped his hat when Morel gave him 2 shillings. I was on the point of offering him 10.
Oh, James! Eugene was going to give the cabman 10 shillings. 10 shillings for a 3-minute drive, oh dear.
Oh, never mind her much, thanks. The overpaying instinct is a generous one. Better than the underpaying instinct and not so common.
No. Cowardice. Incompetence. Mrs. Morel's quite right.
Of course she is. And now I must leave you to James for the present. I suppose you are too much of a poet to know the state a woman finds her house in when she's been away for 3 weeks. Give me my rug. Now lay my cloak across my arm. Now my hat. Thanks.
You'll stay to lunch with us, Eugene, of course.
Oh, I mustn't. I mean, I can't.
You mean you won't?
No, I should like to. Thank you very much, but.
Bosh! If you'd like to stay, stay. If you're shy, you can go and take a turn in the park and write your poetry until 1:30. Then come in and have a good feed.
Thank you. I should like that very much. But I really mustn't. The truth is, Mrs. Morel told me not to. She said she didn't think that you'd invite me to stay to lunch, but I was to remember that if you did, that you didn't really want me to. She said I'd understand, but I don't. Please don't tell her I told you.
Oh, is that all? Well, won't my suggestion that you take a turn in the park meet that difficulty?
How?
Why, you duffer! No, I won't put it that way. My dear lad, in a happy marriage like ours, there is something very sacred in the return of the wife to her home. A truly noble and sympathetic soul is not in the way on such occasions, whereas a chance visitor is. Candida thought that I'd rather not have you here, but she was wrong. I am very fond of you, my boy, and should like for you to see for yourself what a happy thing it is to be married as I am.
Happy? Your marriage? You think that? You believe that?
I know it, my boy. La Rochefoucauld said there are convenient marriages, but no delightful ones. You don't know what a glorious thing it is to see through and through a rotten liar and cynic like that fellow. Now off with you to the park and write your poetry. 1:30 sharp, mind. We never wait for anybody.
No, stop! You shan't. I'll force it into the light.
Hey, force what?
I must speak to you. There's something that must be settled between us.
Now?
Now! Before you leave this room.
I'm not going to leave it, my dear boy. I thought you were. All right, come sit down quietly and tell me what it is. And remember, we are friends, and need not worry that either of us will be anything but patient and kind with the other, whatever it is we have to say.
Oh, I'm not forgetting myself. I'm only full of horror. You shall see when this is the time for patience and kindness. Don't look at me in that self-complacent way. You think yourself stronger than I am, but I shall stagger you if you have a heart in your breast.
Stagger me, my boy. Out with it.
First,
I
love your wife.
My dear child, of course you do. Everybody loves her. They can't help it. I like it, but I say, Eugene, are you sure your case is one to be talked about? You're under 20. She's over 30. Doesn't it look rather like a case of calf love?
You dare say that of her? You think that way of the love she inspires? It is an insult to her.
To her? Eugene, take care. I have been patient. I hope to remain patient. But there are some things I won't allow. Don't force me to show you the indulgence I would show to a child. Be a man.
Let us put aside all that cant. It horrifies me when I think of all the doses of it she has had to endure in all the weary years during which you have selfishly and blindly sacrificed her to minister to your self-sufficiency. You, who have not one thought, one sense in common with her.
She seems to bear it pretty well. Eugene, you are making a fool of yourself. A very great fool of yourself. There's a piece of wholesome plain speaking for you.
Do you think I don't know all that? Do you think the things that people make fools of themselves are any less real and true than the things they behave sensibly about? They are more true. They are the only things that are true. You are very calm and moderate and sensible with me because you see that I am a fool about your wife. Just as no doubt that old man that was here just now is very wise over your socialism because he sees that you are a fool about it. Does that prove you wrong? Does your complacent superiority to me prove that I am wrong?
Marchbanks, some devil is putting these words into your mouth. It is easy, terribly easy, to shake a man's faith in himself. To take advantage of that to break a man's spirit is devil's work. Take care of what you are doing. Take care.
I know. I'm doing it on purpose. I told you I should stagger you.
Eugene, listen to me. One day, I hope and trust, you will be a happy man like me. You will be married, and you will be working with all your might and valor to make every spot on earth as happy as your own home. You will be one of the makers of the kingdom of heaven on earth, and who knows, you may be a master builder, whereas I am only a humble journeyman. For don't think, my boy, as young as you are, I cannot see in you the makings of higher powers than I can ever pretend to. I well know it is in the poet that the Holy Spirit of man, the God within him, is most godlike. It should make you tremble to think of that, to think that the heavy burden and great gift of the poet may be laid upon you.
It does not make me tremble. It is want of it in others that makes me tremble.
And help to kindle it in them, in me, not to extinguish it. When you are happy as I am, I will be your true brother in the faith. I will help you to believe that God has given us a world that nothing but our own folly keeps from being a paradise. I will help you to believe that every stroke of your work is sowing happiness for the great harvest that all, even the humblest, shall one day reap. And last, but trust me not least, I help you to believe that your wife loves you and is happy in her home. We need such help, Marchbanks. We need it greatly and always. There is much to make us doubt if once we let our understanding be troubled. Even at home we sit as in camp, encompassed by a hostile army of doubts. Will you play the traitor and let them in on me?
Oh my God, is it like this for her here always? A woman with a great soul, craving for truth, reality, freedom, and being fed on metaphors, sermons, stale perorations, mere rhetoric. Do you think a woman's soul can live on your talent for preaching?
Marchbanks, you make it difficult to control myself. My talent is like yours, insofar as it has any real worth at all. It is the gift of finding words to divine truth.
Oh, it's the gift of the gab, nothing more, nothing less. What has your knack of fine talking to do with the truth any more than playing the organ has? I've never been in your church, but I've been to your political meetings, and I've seen you do what's called rousing the meeting to enthusiasm. That is, you excited them until they behaved exactly as if they were drunk, and their wives saw what fools they were. Oh, it's an old story. You'll find it in the Bible. I imagine King David in his fits of enthusiasm was very much like you. But his wife despised him in her heart.
Leave my house! Do you hear?
Let me go! Stop it! It's right there! Get away from my convert! Let me go!
You little sniveling cowardly whelp! Go, before you frighten yourself into a fit.
Oh, I'm not afraid of you. It's you who are afraid of me.
It looks that way, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. You think I shrink from being brutally handled? That I can do nothing but cry with rage when I am met with violence? That I can lift the truth of my on top of the cap like you? Because I can't fight for your wife as a drunken lavvy would? All that makes you think that I'm afraid of you. But you're wrong. If I am British pluck, I am British cowardice either. I'm not afraid of a clergyman's ideas. I'll fight your ideas. I'll rescue her from her slavery to them. You are throwing me out of the house because you daren't let the truth between your ideas and mine. You are afraid to let me see her again. Let me alone.
I am not going to hurt you. Don't be afraid. When my wife returns, she will want to know why you have gone. And when she learns that you're never going to cross our threshold again, she'll want to have that explained too. Now, I don't wish to distress her by telling her you behaved like a blackguard.
You shall. You must. If you give any explanation but the true one, you are a liar and a coward. Tell her what I said, and how you were strong and manly, and how you shook me as a terrier shakes a rat, and how I shrank and was terrified, and how you called me a sniveling little whelp and threw me out of the house. If you don't tell her, I will. I'll write it to her.
Why do you want her to know this?
Because she will understand me, and know that I understand her. If you keep back one word of it from her, if you are not ready to lay the truth at her feet as I am, then you shall know to the end of your days that she really belongs to me and not to you. Goodbye.
Stop! I will not tell her.
Either a truth or a lie you must tell her if I go.
Marchbanks, it is sometimes justifiable to...
I know. To lie. It will be useless. Goodbye, Mr. Clergyman.
Are you going, Eugenie? Dear me, just look at you going out into the street in that state. You are a poet, certainly. Look at him, James. Look at his collar, look at his tie, look at his hair. One would think somebody had been throttling you. Here, stand still. There. Now you look so nice, I think you'd better stay to lunch after all, though I told you you mustn't. It will be ready in half an hour. Don't be silly.
I should like to stay, of course, unless the reverend gentleman, your husband, has anything to advance on the contrary.
Shall I stay, James, if you promise us to be a good boy and help lay the table?
Oh, yes, certainly, he had better.
Come and lay the table. I am the happiest of mortals.
So was I, an hour ago.